There's been several new updates in regard to Pete Alonso. Where is he going to end up? And the guys at SNY play buy or pass, and we're going to live react with you next on MetCast. Welcome back to MetCast, friends. As always, my name is Ray. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are going to be doing a buy or sell or buy or pass with the guys over at SNY. I have not viewed this video, so they're going to go through multiple free agents. You and I can live react. Be sure to leave your comments down below in the comments section. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me, because I'm sure I'll be critiquing plenty of them. We also have a Pete Alonso update from Phillips, the former Mets GM, in regard to Pete. But let's first get to this buy or pass segment, and we'll live react. Here we go.
Pay or pass. I'm going to give each guy a name of a player with a contract prediction from your friends over at The Athletic there, Will, your colleagues. And they're going to let us know if the Mets...
Will Salmon, obviously a friend of the show. You guys have seen him on our shows multiple times. Let's see what he's got.
Should pay that player or pass on that player. So I'm going to begin with you on this, David Lennon. Christian Walker, 3 years, $72 million. Are you paying or are you passing?
I'm paying. I love that deal for Christian Walker. You know, we just talked about them trying to get Pete Alonso, but if that doesn't work out, you know, 3-year deal for a guy like Christian Walker, Gold Glove first baseman.
He's 34. Alonso's 30. What I don't understand, someone's got to explain this to me. Maybe it's me as a fan, but we don't want to give Pete Alonso 6 years to age 36. This guy's 34, so you're going to pay him 34, 35, and 36. What the heck's the difference? Bring Pete Alonso back here. I am not paying Christian Walker.
Look at his offensive numbers. I mean, he doesn't have the pure power that Pete Alonso does, but his OPS is great. He can provide some.
It's always very convenient. Now, I'm not saying Walker's not a solid player, because obviously he is. His OPS speaks for itself. But I love when people go, you know, the OPS, but, you know, he doesn't have the power that Pete does. Pete's also coming off the worst year of his career. He's not going to get the money that he's looking for in free agency. So my first baseman, I want to have the ultimate pop. I don't want to hear anything else. I want to hear pop, pop, and more pop from first base, because you know what happens in the postseason, as we saw last year in Milwaukee, and we saw it with Lindor against Philly. One swing can change the entire game.
For you, so I think that's a very affordable contract. I mean, I can't pay fast enough for Christian Walker.
And that's the beauty of Christian Walker. Because of his age, he comes a lot cheaper. That's about half of what Pete Alonso is reportedly seeking on the market. So if you're the Mets, you could quote unquote blow away this field for Christian Walker and still save a ton of money over what you would be paying Pete Alonso. You obviously get great defense with Christian Walker, but the stick is pretty good too. So I'm with Dave. I'm paying.
I'm with both of you guys on that. What about Paul Goldschmidt? 1 year, sort of pillow contract at this point, $15 million.
I'm actually paying Goldschmidt, because I'll tell you why. He is my DH. He is this year's JD Martinez. Now, obviously, Jock Peterson would be my first choice. 900 OPS, 25 dingers, 275 average, right around there. He'd be my number one option. But Paul Goldschmidt is a close number two. That veteran bat, that professional bat. And let's not take this for being underrated. Let's not forget last year what Mark Biento said JD Martinez meant to him. All these young guys, it would be good to see Paul Goldschmidt in a Mets uniform.
Are you paying or passing, Will?
I am paying that. I like it. I like the short-term deal. I like the 1-year contract for a veteran type like that who should have motivation. To me, there's no bigger motivation than money, right? So I don't mind going the 1-year route with somebody like Paul Goldschmidt, because he brings that veteran presence to your clubhouse. He's a pretty good fielder, and he may have some power to tap back into that maybe he didn't get to last season. So I like it on the surface of the 1-year deal. Wouldn't go much further than that with it, but I like it.
What about Jock Peterson here? 2 years, $26 million, paying or passing?
I'll begrudgingly pay this one.
It's not begrudgingly. 2 years, $26 million? Are you kidding me? Run it to the effing bank. Your DH is solidified for 2 years. Imagine that lineup. Just imagine that lineup. You could have Lindor, Soto, Vientos, Alonso, Peterson, Nimmo at 6. That is ridiculous. Maybe you actually move Nimmo down to the 9 hole so you don't have the back-to-back lefties. But that would be an unbelievable lineup.
I would much rather have a guy like Jock Peterson on a one-year deal. I do feel like it's a bit of a pay high based on what he did last year. But look.
But that's the league, baby. That is the league. You pay on recent production. Why do you think Alonso's not getting the offers that he thought he was? He declined supposedly a 6 to 7 year offer from the New York Mets, was not even willing to negotiate prior to the season because he thought he was going to have a crazy year and he's not. And now the market's just simply not there and it's probably going to come back to the Mets. But that is baseball. You pay for recent productions. The Mets didn't pay Soto because what he did in San Diego. They paid him because what he just did with the New York Yankees. Go look at the numbers. It's completely contrasting.
You've done all this work. You bring in Juan Soto. You could definitely use one more bat. And if we're sitting here saying maybe the Mets don't get Pete Alonso, where do you get that extra power from? Because Christian Walker,
even with Pete Alonso, he had a 900 OPS. What are these guys talking about?
is not quite that guy. Jock Peterson can be at his peak. Another big left-handed bat in there. I'll pay it. It's fine. I'll pay it.
It's not your money. It's Nick Cohen's money.
Generous panel.
Very much so. What about, and this is a name we've heard about in recent days, Alex Bregman from down in Houston.
Now, Mets fans, you know how I feel about Alex Bregman. If we do miss on Alonso, he's got to be the pivot. Has to be. Clutch as hell bat. I know he had a down year to start this season. Go look at his last 3 months. He had 1 month where he had like a 947 OPS. He is still a great player, great glove, and put him in this lineup, he will absolutely thrive. And one thing he doesn't do, and this is one thing that I've been thinking about a lot. Let me know what you guys think if you agree with me. The playoffs have become about bullpens. The Dodgers have that great rotation, but at the end of the day, most of these pitchers are going 5 or 6 innings. Bregman's a guy that will foul off a ton of pitches. Brandon Nimmo is a guy that will foul off a ton of pitches. Last year, Vientos was fouling off a ton of pitches in the postseason. Lindor could be like that. If you get enough guys that don't strike out a lot, that could completely change a postseason game. Before you know it, a guy like Blake Snell, who throws a ton of pitches to a lot of foul ball contact, is out in the 4th inning. And that changes playoff games. So getting a guy like Bregman, who doesn't even strike out 100 times, could be very beneficial to this lineup. Maybe you guys think different. Let me know in the comments.
Did 7 years. It's a rich contract. 7 years, $185.5 million. You paying or passing, Will?
I'm definitely passing here. I'm sorry. I just don't see it as a great fit for the Mets, actually. And I just because of what I alluded to at the beginning of the show, where they just allocated all this money, all these years to Juan Soto. Do you really want to add another long-term contract on top of that? I'm not sure about that.
That's baseball, though. If you want to win, you got to give out long-term contract. He doesn't want to give a 7-year contract to Bregman, but he's willing to give a 6-year contract to Alonso. Who do you think is going to age better? Let's be honest, and we're being really honest, Met fans. First basemen of Pete's size don't typically age great. I'm not saying he can't be good 32, 33, and even 34, but 35 and 36, it'll be, we'll see. But at the end of the day, the argument saying I'm not giving out a long-term contract, you'd have to give out a long-term contract to Pete, or anybody could. Look, Ohtani got 10 years. You have Betts on a long-term, Freeman on a long-term. You just gave Blake Snell 5 years. I mean, they're giving out long-term contracts all over the place in LA. I don't know what Will is talking about here. You're going to have to give to get. That is MLB now.
You already have an option at third base for now with Mark Vientos. You have other options as well in the minor leagues that you could maybe give a more fair shot to if you want to move Vientos to first base even. So I just don't see it as somebody who makes.
If that's the case, like what Will just said, moving him to first base and not bringing in Bregman, that means Brett Beatty's most likely your starting third baseman. There's no way you could tell me that Juan Soto would be okay coming to the New York Mets with Brett Beatty at third base, losing your best power bat. That doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, maybe you guys disagree.
Makes a lot of sense right now, coming off the year that he just had, where he didn't show the best offensive production. Still a great player, just don't love him at those numbers.
It would be weird to me if I could cut in for the Mets to do that for Alex Bregman, but not for Pete Alonso.
Right.
Well said.
Yep, makes sense. All right, let's finish on this one right here. A little bit of sentiment.
It does make sense because I'm not saying this me as a fan, but what is David Stearns valued more than anything on a baseball team? Defense. Harrison Bader last year. Jose Siri's a great defender. He hit 188 last year, and he's probably going to be starting for us in center field, which kills me because he probably won't be on the roster in June. But he's hitting 170 in winter ball. And one thing that Bregman is absolutely elite at is defense. There's no denying that.
Mentality with this, because he really was one of the great stories of this past season. Jose Iglesias, 2 years, $16 million.
I'm not giving Jose Iglesias 2 years. I'll give him a 1 year, $8 million contract at most, maybe a little bit of incentives, but there's no way I'm giving him 2 years. Love the OMG last year. I was bought in just like everybody else, but we need to think with our head here. I am passing on 2 years for Iglesias.
Bucks, David, paying or passing?
There's that S word again with the sentimentality. I think that's too rich for to play the sentimental card there. Iglesias was great. You know, we've talked about many times what he did for the Mets last year. Really a glue guy in the clubhouse. Really a spark. Played a number of positions for them. But I think, you know, you can find those type of players out there again. I think David Stearns takes pride in finding those guys.
Yes.
So I think 2 years and 16 is a little rich, I think, for that player.
There we go. Latest edition of Pay or Pass.
So that's what you have with the pay or pass, people. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Now, we have another thing from MLB Network that they put out in regard to Pete Alonso. I'll probably get demonetized for playing this, but to be honest with you guys, I don't care. It's all about Pete Alonso. They did a very interesting video, and I'm going to play it for you right now.
Fourth selection of the 2016 Major League Draft, New York Mets select Pete Alonso, first baseman for the University of Florida.
Since he was drafted in 2016, right from the start, it'd be hard to find a player in baseball that has endeared himself to a fan base more than Pete Alonso has to the Mets. First and foremost, the Dingers. Alonso hit prodigious home runs at the University of Florida. He hit 36 during his final minor league season in 2018. And in his debut major league season with the Mets, he exploded upon the scene,
One of the
mashing 53 long balls in 2019. It was the most homers hit by a rookie ever. It was the most homers hit by a Met in a single season ever. The Mets had found a power hitter they hadn't had since the days of Mike Piazza. And Alonso was just 24 years old. But it wasn't just his power. It was also his personality in a city that craves one. Just listen to him talk about getting barbecue sauce, beers, and relish dumped on him after his debut home run. You can almost hear him glowing through the audio.
A couple eggs, barbecue sauce, mayonnaise, beer, shaving cream, I don't know, maybe ketchup and mustard, maybe relish, I don't know.
So it's worth it.
100%. 100%.
He was even given a loving nickname by teammate Todd Frazier before the 2019 season started, the Polar Bear, because as Frazier put it, as only Todd Frazier could, quote, "You look like a big damn polar bear." By the end of 2019, he had adapted a long-time Mets rallying cry that drove fans wild. It was a simple alteration, but added a little more fire and a little more passion to the raucous atmosphere inside Citi Field.
LFGM. Let's go. Pete Alonso. Thanks a lot.
How cool is that? Now I want to get to that update that I promised you guys. So Steve Phillips, former Mets GM, was recently on a show today. I was trying to figure out which show it was. I could not find it prior to recording this. If you guys find it, please feel free to share it in the comments. But essentially he was saying Alonso has gone to the free agent market and he's not receiving the offers that he thought that he was going to. Now, this isn't a surprise. We saw this last year with Scott Boras, with Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. I'm hoping this doesn't last till February. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me when I say this. We can't wait till February. Because what if Christian Walker signs, Bregman signs, and then you get Nolan Arenado's traded to wherever he's going to be traded to, maybe the Yankees or the Red Sox. And then Pete Alonso goes and signs in Seattle. And we're S out of luck. That could be really bad for us. So I would like for this to get done early. He said that he expects at the end of the day Alonso to be a New York Met. They have mutual interest. The only thing that is holding me back from like guaranteeing that Pete Alonso is going to be a New York Met is David Stearns. Because time and time again, when I look at the type of player that David Stearns covets, it's not Pete Alonso. It's just not. He likes a superior athlete, guys. That's why I said Bregman could be such a fit for this team, because of that. Now, you don't have to be a crazy athlete at every position, but I think it's fair to say Vientos is more agile in the field at this point in his career than Pete Alonso is. But hopefully we're able to get this done with Pete Alonso. I hate to risk, I hate for last season, the memories to be the last ones with him, but only time will tell. So again, if you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. Helps the channel out so much. Leave a comment down below. I'm sure to get back to just about everybody. Some videos go absolutely crazy with the comments, so I do as much as I can. Thanks so much for sticking around, everybody, and until next time, take care.